This is the first worksheet on single trait genetics. It's a basic genetics concept worksheet. Front side is your typical Punnett square side, and then of course on the back are word problems that you'll have to set up for yourself. So I'm going to give you some successful tips on how to answer these. All right, so first step is to make a key. So looking at question number 1, a green pea plant, big G, little g, heterozygous, is crossed with a yellow pea plant. So we know because that is heterozygous, you have one dominant, one recessive. The dominant gene is what the plant is going to look like. So we know that green is dominant and yellow is recessive. Now I like to take each parent plant and go ahead and put big G, little g crossed with little g, little g. Those are the parents. Now you're going to take each individual gene or gamete and you'll place the first one all the way up on the top, one in each spot. So G, capital G goes there, and then the lowercase g goes there. And then these parents will go here and here. So little g, little g. And then you take both of them and you fill in the appropriate box just by bringing them down. Okay, filling out the Punnett square. Now, to do your ratios for your offspring, you're going to do the genotype and the phenotype for the possible outcomes of the offspring. So the genotypes are the gene combination, which you have big G, little g, little g, and then you also have little g, little g. And what percentage? Well, that is a 50%, 50%. Now, phenotype, what are the offspring going to actually look like? Well, big G, little g, that's green. And little g is yellow. And it just so happens that it is a 50%, 50% all. And that's the format you want to do the first style of questions. Now, when you flip it over on the back, these are the word problems. This is where we are going to see if you know your vocabulary word. So for the first one, you have a homozygous dominant and a heterozygous brown. So homozygous dominant brown. Homo means same, zygous is referring to the two genes that make up the zygote. And because the two genes are the same and they're dominant, that means that it's going to be capital B, because it tells me that tan is recessive. So brown is dominant, tan is recessive. So the first parent is homozygous dominant, which would be big B, crossed with heterozygous brown, which will be big B, little b. Now you just take those Punnett square, you place the big B, and then those gametes are big B, little b. Fill in. Okay, so the genotype of the possible offsprings, I made a mistake. That should be big B. If you go too fast, that happens. So big B, and then you have big B, little b. And what percentage? It looks like it is also a 50%, 50%. Now the phenotype, what are these kids going to look like? Well, that one's brown, that one's brown, that one's brown, that one's brown. So they are all brown mice, 100%. And that's all you do for these. Now, I will tell you, there's a little challenging one all the way here at number 5. A heterozygous white rabbit is crossed with a homozygous black rabbit. If you have to guess which one is dominant and which one is recessive, you're missing something. If there's any sort of guesswork, you're missing it. So carefully look at this one, and you should be able to determine which trait is dominant and which trait is recessive. All right, good luck.